Hey, what's going on everybody? It's Jacob. In this video I want to talk to you about how to juggle a full-time job with starting and growing an online business. We can step back out onto the balcony today. Haven't done a video out here for a little while. Most of them have been back in the study doing some screen share stuff, but it's a beautiful day, so we can step out here and get some fresh air. There is a little bit of breeze, so hopefully it's not too bad. But this is a topic that I think I can help you out with a lot, because I really juggled this situation 2017 and 2018, and I did it with a job that I wouldn't consider normal. My hours were well above average. They were pretty hectic. It was a high stress job. 80-hour weeks were pretty consistent, sometimes pushing up to the 100-hour weeks, traveling, intensive client work. It was in the corporate finance field, and I think if I was able to make it work while juggling that type of job, I think the vast majority of people can make it happen with a normal job. Right now, I appreciate that we all have other kind of extra things going on in our lives with family and social commitments and all that kind of stuff. But the big thing most people struggle with is juggling the job with the business goals and the business aspirations. So that's what I want to talk about with you in this video. Before we jump into it, give the video a like if you get any value from it. If you're struggling with this, I think this will really help you out. If you want to work with me and my team on high-ticket affiliate marketing, check out the links in the description, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Click the bell icon so you get notified when I drop new videos. Here's the biggest thing that worked for me, right? It's what I call microtasking. It's basically creating very specific to-do lists of these are the exact things that I know I need to get done. And this is super effective because when you're juggling those two things, a full-time job and trying to start an online business, your windows of opportunity to work are going to be limited. And so here's the problem most people run into is that window of opportunity pops up and they spend half of it or more than half of it thinking about what they should be doing instead of actually doing. Okay, now there's a little step before you can actually have the the capacity to make those crystal clear to-do lists, and you've got to have clarity on three things. And this is something I've spoken about on this channel quite a bit, but we'll touch on it quickly for the new people. And it's what you want to sell, how you want to sell, and who you want to sell it to. Okay, having a very clear monetization plan, right? Having a very clear idea of this is what I want to sell. This is the product, or these are the products that I want to sell. Having a very clear idea on that, first and foremost. Second, what is your lead capture and conversion process? So how will you take people from attention on whatever platform it is, which is the third part that we'll touch on in a second, convert them into buyers? That can either be done one-to-one through a conversation, on the phone, on Messenger, or it can be done through an automated process like a funnel or a website, right? And then the third part is how are you going to get in front of people? Are you going to use organic strategies? Are you going to use paid strategies? Are you going to do content marketing? Are you going to use Facebook, YouTube, a blog, Instagram? Whatever it is, having crystal clear clarity, say that 3 times fast, around those three things will give you an amazing launching pad. Okay, that's the first part I see people go really wrong. Is not only are they trying to juggle a full-time job with starting an online business, but they got so many moving parts in that online business that they can't possibly have clarity around what to do when they do actually get the time to work on it. So get clear on those three. And then what you need to do is you need to create a daily action plan that has a very clear list of things that you need to do each day. Okay? And what that will allow you to do is when you get the time at night, in the morning, whatever time it is that you allocate to building the online business, right? Assuming the job takes up the rest of the day, and then you've got some family time and a bit of social life, like you can't stop doing everything else. You'll sit down and you'll have this list of things to do, and you work through them, and when you're done, you pack up and you move on. Okay, now that sounds great in theory, and it works pretty well most of the time. Here's the problem. the average week for most people, they don't get like an hour free each day or 2 hours free each day. Stuff happens, shit happens, stuff pops up, and you need to be flexible. So I think then people fall into the trap of, okay, well, I'm not going to get all these things done on my to-do list, so what do I need to focus on? And here's the big tip, is if you've got that crystal clear daily action plan of exactly what you need to do, where you need to put out the content, who you need to follow up with, what emails you need to send, what articles you need to write, what videos you need to make, whatever it is for you and your business, if you have clarity around those things, when the time crunch happens, as it inevitably will, you focus on the income producing activities, okay? So if that's making sure that you get an email out to your email list, do that. If that's making sure that you get a YouTube video posted that has a clear call to action to buy your thing, do that. If that's following up with people on Facebook Messenger, do that. If that's throwing out another piece of bait on Instagram to get people over to your bio, do that. Whatever leads directly to the decision point for your audience that they will pull out their credit card or not, fuel that. Okay, everyone that I see fall into the trap of doing all of this extra stuff, right, when they're already on a time crunch, they don't have clarity on those three things, they don't have a daily action plan, and then the time crunch comes and it's like, shit, I've only got half an hour today, not my 2 hours that I'd like. Then the time crunch comes and they're trying to do these 50,000 things. Figure out what those income producing activities are for you, depending on the structure that you take in your business, and focus on those, right? To me, consistency doesn't mean spending 2 hours a day on something. Consistency means consistently prioritizing this thing that you want to do. So if you only get half an hour, don't stress out about it. Just get done the income producing stuff that you can, and then the next day go back to doing the full daily action plan. That's what's going to serve you best, okay? Now, assuming you get that in place and you start to actually build some momentum using that plan. So most days you're executing on your full daily action plan. On the days where you get a bit of a time squeeze, you focus on the income producing activities. Once you're rolling along with that and you start building some momentum, that's the key word here, is you really, really need to double down on that. Okay, so for a lot of people, when they start making money online, they get into this complacency trap and they start to think that because they're at this certain point, that's going to keep coming, that the passive income dream, right? Especially if you're promoting recurring products, that will drop off, they will churn, things change, all this kind of stuff. When that starts to happen, when you start to build momentum, when you start to generate some results, you don't want to slow down, right? One of the things that I've been able to do really well is leverage the momentum of one thing into the next, and that's what my top students do, is they get the results and they leverage one thing into the next. The power of attraction marketing, especially in the affiliate marketing world, works really, really well when you do that. But when the results start to come, don't slow down. If you have aspirations of leaving your job and going full-time with online business, you have to take that momentum and roll it into the next thing, into the next thing, into the next thing. That's both external momentum, in terms of if you're building a personal brand and things are happening and you're getting results and you're being recognized in your industry or in your niche and you're getting testimonials and you're getting income proof or whatever, sharing that stuff and really letting people know about it is really, really going to help build external momentum. So then whatever you do next is going to have a lot more force behind it. You've also got internal momentum, right? If you double down on the good feeling of this is working, I'm doing this well, I'm getting this, I understand this, and you push harder, right, and you focus more on those income producing activities and you take it all to another level again, that's going to fuel itself even further. Whereas I see too many people ramp it up and then it starts to happen and they go, oh, this is great, I'm just going to sit back, right? It's like the point on the loop where I think it's in the Simpsons movie where Homer's trying to win the car and he's on the motorbike and he gets to the top of the loop. He's got to do a loop in a motorbike and he gets there and then he falls back down. He gets to the top and then he falls back down. And Lisa says to him, she's like, Dad, when you get to the top, accelerate more. And he's like, but that's the scariest part, right? That's what you got to do. When you get to the top, you got that momentum. If you want to make it all the way back round, down to the bottom, so that you can, if we imagine that as leaving your job, you have to accelerate at that point, right? When you've got the momentum, you're at tipping point. If you slow down, you're going to crash. If you speed up, you've got a chance of making it all the way back around to your goal, which is to do the full loop, right? Just to give you a bit of a analogy for you on that one. That's the way I think about it. And that advice to a lot of my students who have really built momentum and then doubled down on that has served them really, really well. And we've seen students go very quickly from 0 to 5K to 10K to 20K to some of them onto 40K because of that momentum factor. So the first part of what we've spoken about today has been geared towards getting you that momentum, right? That's going to be the best way to get that momentum moving, is get clarity on those three things, have your daily action plan, and then as a subset of your daily action plan, know what the tasks are that are going to be income producing, so that when the time crunch inevitably comes on a Tuesday night when, little Johnny's got soccer and instead of 2 hours, you've only got half an hour, you focus on those things. And then when the momentum starts to come, you double down, you speed up, you do not slow down, right? That is what's going to serve you best if your goal is to leave your job and go full-time online. That's going to allow you to maximize your time spending, so you don't sit down after a long ass day at work when you can't be bothered and you're like, shit, what have I got to do? What am I going to make a video about? Or I don't know what to focus on. I've got all these thousands of things. And the more detailed you can be in that planning, what's your content going to be about? What's the email going to be about? What video do I need to record? The more detailed you can be in all of that stuff, the easier and easier it's going to be. So the more you plan, the more it's going to help. Okay, there are a couple of tips from someone who was able to escape the 60, 80, 100-hour weeks in the corporate world, both here and both in Australia and in America. I worked in New York in the finance game, which is pretty hectic if you're familiar with the industry at all. And I was able to do it. So that's what worked really well for me, utilizing the windows of opportunity that you get. My first hit, you might call it, with affiliate marketing was a blog. That blog was literally built on the go, right? Like that was built in Ubers, in cabs, on planes, on the subway, and a little bit of time at home when I wasn't eating or sleeping or working more on my job. It was literally built on the go. That's how I took advantage of those windows of opportunity. I got to the airport, I'd have 15 minutes. I knew I was midway through a certain article about a certain topic and I needed to finish the last 3 paragraphs on XYZ. Having a clear, actionable plan of what to focus on will serve you really, really, really well. If it means that you have to put your tools down now on actually implementing to get that plan in place, right? One step forward to one step back to take a couple of steps forward in the longer term, do it, because it's going to mean that you're going to be more consistent. Okay. I did a video on the channel yesterday about people who struggle with consistency, a big factor of it being the reason why you're doing it. So go check out that video as well if you are juggling these two things but you struggle with consistency, and whenever something pops up, the online business suffers and becomes secondary, that video will help you out as well. Okay, that's all for me in this one. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Click the bell icon so you get notified whenever I drop a new video. If you want to get into high ticket affiliate marketing, check out the links in the description. Give the video a like. I'll chat to you all soon. Cheers.